country. We're gonna keep our country. We will save this country. And the Lord said, go get some reinforcements. Build yourself an army. And boy, let me tell you, did I. And if people think that we're gonna stop fighting for our freedom and liberty, they got something coming.
Wow, who's that lion? Really?
All right. Well, welcome so much. Welcome, y'all. We are live tonight on Stand Up, Stand Out America with yours truly, Bianca Gracia, La Conservadora Tejana. And today I have some special sisters from another Mr. and Mrs. and all kinds of stuff. So my little Cafecito sisters, the Perez sisters out from the East Coast. And I am so excited they're going to be joining me tonight. I thank y'all. Please share our podcast. We're, live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, Getter. Getters are where my biggest audience is. So Getter family, you are always better. So definitely Getter is better. And then, of course, we're live on PatriotTVLive.com. So, guys, so much to talk about today. As you all know, I interview people and so this is a special moment for me. I met these wonderful sisters out at AmFest back in, December. And what an honor to know that we have still some patriotism, just coming up and about, all over the country, that people are not stopping. I've said this before, so many of us are tired on our end. We've been fighting this battle, not long enough, but long enough. We feel like, it's since 2016. I mean, there's people that have been in movements and things of the sort for 20 years, 30 years. We're the newcomers. We're the new kids on the block. But, since 2016, it's been a battle. I mean, we have been in a battle. I've seen people come and go. This political realm, the governmental realm, the patriotic realm, constitutional realm, whatever you want to call it, medical realm, whatever. We are being sucked in. It's a very tiring, fighting for our freedoms and liberties is very tiring, and it consumes you, and you don't feel like you're doing enough. And sometimes you feel like you're doing too much. And so you just really never know. But these sisters here have been on the ground covering what's happening in New York. And for those of you that have followed me since I was with Latinos, we're doing the whole Latinos for Trump movement back in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That we had a lot of patriots out in the New York area. And a lot of them have pretty much, either they moved out of New York or they're still there and they got tired. They were doxxed. They kind of gone back to just doing something else, because it consumed them, and they're really good people. And some of them just had to go back to work because COVID hit and they couldn't afford to lose their jobs. So we've had a lot of things. So I'm very excited that you two, are out there, and you're kind of like, I'm not going to say, I don't know how long you all been doing this, but to me, it's like, okay, you all are a little bit of the newcomers, because we've had all these other people, out there doing what they're doing. But then you all are out there now covering what's going on with this freedom marches and fighting, I guess, trying to get the Hispanic or the Latino community a little bit more engaged, and just to wake up about what's going on around them. So Perez sisters, welcome. I've kind of given a little intro here, but welcome to my show. And please tell the audience what, each of you, tell the audience a little bit about who you all are and what you all have been doing.
Hi, Bianca. My sister and I, when we first met you, we just have to say that we knew, without even having that first real interview, there was just this connection. And it's powerful the way God brings people together. We also want to appreciate and mention Brittany, right? Because she introduced us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And really part of what we do as the Perez sisters of Cafecito Break and our small business Botanical is that we I guess, have been called to duty, to service, to walk the path of the middle. And in that path, which is the path of the heart, it's beautiful because you're in service to people, you're connected with God, and you're really when you're with anyone who's in front of you, you know that is God in action. And we also know that through this work, especially the medium of podcasting, which, Bianca, we're about to have an anniversary next year. Next month. Next month, our podcast, Cafecito Break, is going to have a birthday, 11 years.
11 years? Wow. Oh my goodness. See, I thought you guys were just
to that part, you're right. We're newcomers. Okay. You're absolutely right. So you're not wrong. That's your intuition and leading you and and connecting with you. We were pretty much just low key. We've always been active with the community, but our mission and our service was really like connecting with the people. We would set up community events. Since we had a small business, we would maybe rent a church hall and have like podcast / marqueta, and that way we were living and walking the walk. We care about small business. We know small businesses and entrepreneurs, and when you're starting out, it's hard. So everybody would win, and it would be like everyone who would participate in those markets were also they contributing in another way. Maybe they were also artists, so they would form part of the podcast lineup. And it was really beautiful. But that was like God calling us to gather with the people. And people were like, why are you still trying to do community events? That's so outdated. And we were like, no sé por qué. God is putting it in our hearts that we must gather with the people. We don't know why that gathering the people is important, but we're doing it.
But it was also needed, right? Because even here in New York City, even pre-COVID, New York, the landscape of New York had been changing for many years. And, one of the things that has affected this city is, people's lifestyle, like as you can imagine, has been so stressed out. And people have been walking around so overwhelmed. And it was something that we saw increasing over and over again. And one of the things that, we felt the calling for, and we also, because we love being with la gente, is understanding that there was a real need for people coming together. So we were feeling that call to create events and situations like that, but also because there was that need. One of the things you'll hear a lot of New Yorkers or even people new to New York say all the time is that they find it so ironic that you can be surrounded by millions of people and still feel so lonely. And so it's one of those humbling and ironic moments where you're like, my gosh, with so many resources, so many things, sometimes it's so hard to actually connect with people. And that was one of the things that we've been so passionate about throughout so many years. And we did it in different varieties, like she said, through fiesta, through events in different capacities.
All of it has it's like, it might look different, right? Because if we're called to do like a sister circle or like a meditation, maybe we're like, okay, everybody, breathe in through your nose, relax and But then, if you put me, then we could be with the elders, and they told me real quick, it was like, we're done doing with this laughter yoga, ho ho ha ha. Do you have music? And I was like, see, and the next thing you know, I put some reggaeton and everybody's la, tra, 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 tra. And you have the elders bumping their buns and the older elders was like, oh my God, I'm seeing so many buns moving in the air. But through that, like, it's almost like blurring, like, because of course it's like reggaeton and elders. What are you talking about? You want to be so gentle with them. But it was sort of acknowledging humanity. And what started to happen in all of these circles, whether we were in the shop or we were doing the podcast or we were in these community events, is what happens, Bianca, and this happens, I'm sure, to you all of the time. People realize they can connect with you, and then they start telling you some real stuff. Yes. And then you start looking around and you're like, pero ¿quiénes se están encargando de esto? And then you start doing investigaciones, and then you're not satisfied with the people who are representing you are doing. So I'll give you a little example. We have always been around community activism and politics.
Right.
And I remember, and my sister has her examples too, where we would hear rhetoric and we would be like, but you're in our mind, I'm like, but you're an elected official and you're serving this part of the community, and you're only talking about the Latinos and low income. What about the hippies that live here? What about the small business people that live here? What about the blanquitos? What about the people who have of better economic means?
Right.
Do you not also como se dice, represent them? And those were kind of questions no one had a good answer for.
Or we would see it flipped, right? We would see representatives, as we all have experience and in so many ways, come into our communities and really love on you or give you the attention, the Black and brown communities, and then see it flipped where all of a sudden they're representing everybody else and, you know, conveniently forgot about the very people that helped to get you to those positions.
Right.
So regardless, we were definitely seeing so many signs of that from different angles.
Right, exactly. So that's amazing. The amount of I can see it and feel it in your hearts that you guys really care about your community. First and foremost, it's about la gente. I earlier, I don't know, about 2 years ago, as we were trying to get not past the Trump movement per se, but past that whole, rhetoric, I saw the Hispanic, Latino, Mexican American, just the Latino community really get involved politically, civically, a lot more so during the Trump era, because small businesses were prospering under the administration. The fastest growing small businesses were Latina women, and they were growing at a fast time rate during the Trump administration. So, economics, it speaks to us. That's how we feed our families. That's how we, that's how we see ourselves as being successful. So you saw this Latino community get more engaged civically, like, this is good. There's some positive energy, there's some things going on in the community. We're prospering. Small businesses are growing. And I saw this whole thing, and I saw an uprise within the Latino community. I saw it from coast to coast, from California to Florida to New York. And that was all that I was witnessing through the whole Latino for Trump movement. And I will tell you that in 2020, and as we started to say, okay, what are we going to do here? Because, politically, both parties, optic wise and messaging wise, target our communities for whatever their agendas are. And somehow we get stuck in the middle, and so you see this, and I said, what is it that's going to be different moving forward, 2020 and beyond? And I literally said, it is really time to stand up, stand out. We have to stand up and stand out for the betterment of where we live, for the quality of life. Whether you're living in a very poverty-stricken barrio, you still deserve your trash to be picked up, clean water. You still deserve good education. No difference than if you live in a very high income, snooty polluty, environment, right? So it doesn't matter. Everybody still deserves the basic quality of life, things that we are offered in this country. And so I said, and I saw this Latino, just the Latino community just rising up, and I saw more leaders rising up that were speaking out. The one thing that people don't understand about Latinos is that we're bold. And when we set our heart on something, we go full force, and there ain't no stopping us, so we go full force. We're bold, we're outspoken, y no nos dejamos. We are fighters to the core, especially if we really believe in what we're doing. And so literally, I literally said, you know what? Los Latinos are going to be the history makers and the game changers in this country. And we are, what I say is stand up, stand out, American. I say, porque somos el movimiento de la gente. So you all in your story right now with what you are doing, that you said, well, you weren't specifically completely politically involved, but you've been in your community. You're small business owners. We're talking to other business. So you are literally el movimiento de la gente. You are moving your people, whether it's moving them to encourage them to get out of poverty, to get a better education, whether it's buying a new car or a nice outfit, or hey, feel good about yourself, right? No estés ahí nomás like, oh, no estoy bonita, whatever. The self-esteem, there's so many things that we are having to deal with right now in society. The morality, the ethic issues that are going on, the wokeisms, our kids get bullied at school, they get made fun of. It's become this cultural that is taking over, and it's like literally coming down. The one community that goes, no, eso aquí, vámonos para allá. Eso aquí, no aceptamos aquí. That is what the Latino community is. We don't put up with the nonsense. We draw the line somewhere. We're all wanting, just a betterment. I come from a barrio, 7 brothers and sisters. I was telling you all this before the podcast. We were not supposed to be successful from the barrio. We weren't. My older brother and sister dropped out of high school at 15 years old, got married young. It's kind of the Hispanic culture. You get married young, you start having babies, whatever. And a lot of them go and live on welfare, and they just stay on welfare. But I was the one that drew the line in the sand. And I was like, nope, I am not going to be on welfare. I'm not going to stay in this little barrio, and I want it more. But me drawing the line is what actually opened that path for the rest of my brothers and sisters that followed behind me. None of them, all of my brothers and sisters after me have become successful. I broke that generational curse in the barrio mentality that, the only thing we were good for is, mediocre jobs, being on welfare, living in Section 8 homes for all of our lives, food stamps, that whole mentality that's really all we were good for, and so it's so important to be involved with a community and do what you do. And, one of the things that I learned during the Obama administration is because I started my small business and I could not get ahead. I couldn't get ahead. I was having to pay too many taxes. I couldn't hire new people because then if you hire new people, then that takes in from what your earnings are. You're trying to survive here. So I was overregulated by the government and overtaxed by the government. So to own a small business was really tough. And I saw that during the Obama years. But when Trump came along, that changed. There was less regulation, less taxation, and so that's a thing that I think our Latinos can understand. So as business owners, I'm like so proud of y'all for having your small business. You've been out there engaging with the community, really talking to your, the people that live around you. I love New York City. I mean, I can't say I really love it right now because of how the deterioration that I've seen to New York City. But I used to love growing up. I love the fashion industry. I love the big city, the lights, the city that never sleeps, right? New York was the place to go. It was the place to go, and you're right. Listen, there's people everywhere, but it's a hustle. It's everybody's moving fast. Nobody has time to really sit and talk to each other. It's always a hustle and bustle. But when you're young, I love that. I was attracted to that. I was like, woo, I love this. I want to be fast paced. I want to go. So to see and look back now and see all the things that I see, of course, I'm not there anymore, I haven't visited New York in a long time, but to see what's on the news or like you all in the podcast and stuff, and to see that the crime rate is up, Police officers are getting murdered. Y'all's lockdowns during COVID was beyond. I mean, you had no liberties or freedoms at all. They wanted to mandate all of y'all to take the jab. You guys, you were challenged at all ends. You were frowned upon if you didn't want to get the jab, and so you all had to face, this thing of where our, liberties and our freedoms, we're losing them, and we're losing them very quickly. Now, I'm sure that if y'all know the Latino community, a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our, our people have fled communist socialist countries. That's why they're in New York. That's why these people are coming to Texas. They're going to California. They're going because they fled that. Pero lo que no tienen es no tienen la inteligente. Creen que democracia aquí means that you have freedom and liberty. So they think that democracy is Democrat Party. So they think, that, okay, well, these are the people that care about us. These are the people that have the best interest. And that's not what's happening right now. So we have a lot of things. We have a lot to do with our community and educate our community. And I see y'all doing that. That's exactly what you're doing. You're out there fighting for just freedom. You're not telling people, hey, you're one thing or another. You're just literally trying to wake people up and saying, hey, some of these mandates, I mean, they're hurting us. They hurt our wallet. They hurt us from going to work. I still see people with a mask on right now. I'm like, how can you breathe? I can't breathe with that thing on. I mean, this is the things that I see, and I commend you too for not just being small business, trying to survive in this culture, but living in New York and staying in New York. I think New York, from what I see, has the fastest growing rate of people leaving New York to go to other states where they seem to have more freedom. I see y'all doing these things on the ground, and you're covering all, pockets of things that are going on, covering things that are going on with the, your elected officials. Tell us a little bit more about what that's about. You guys have been engaged. That means that you have to have some trust level with your community, because you guys have already been engaged. So la comunidad, they trust you. They trust y'all. So what is it that you all are dedicated to, and what are you trying to accomplish by doing these podcasts? What are you trying to accomplish in New York right now for your people?
It's a great question. I would say first and foremost, one of the things that we have always prioritized and applied to anything we did in life was the importance of relationships, networking. When we meet people, maintaining them, never burning a bridge, like always having a flow. And over time, what happens is, people really start to trust. And, I feel like one of the biggest blessings my sister and I have had in whether it was our small business or when we're out in the street working with community through the podcast has been the blessing of those relationships that get built over time. And then, it just creates this foundation you just work out of, Pero I don't know if you want to add any other component to.
Well, I mean, I love that that's where you started, because when we talk about the wokeism that has infected our society, we can look back and see, now I see how this started creeping into society, right? Mm-hmm. And when we were on the ground, because we had to close our small shop, even though we're still online, but the mandates did affect our small business, in terms of the brick and mortar aspect. Yeah. But I think that, in hindsight too, is we're right where we need to be, because God has bigger plans for us. This is what I believe. But the whole component of relationship, of relating. So here we are in Brooklyn, very close to Domino Park, an area that is considered very elite and wealthy, right? You will see stars, actresses, artists. One time we had a famous basketball player in our shop, pero, como yo no conozco a nadie, I didn't know who it was. I just thought it was a tall dude that just came from the gym. So and then I had no idea that he was this world famous NBA player.
Wow.
And when okay, everybody was there because we sell crystals and sage and Palo Santo. But people, what we started to realize after being in this business for a decade is whatever the purchase was that they would make was like not the real reason anybody was there. They were either contemplating an important life change, right? Maybe they were contemplating, I think that I'm getting ready to leave my job. But then they would seek out our business because they wanted, we had already established at this point a brand that it was focused on self-care and just sitting with yourself so you know what the right answer is. So a lot of these people that we've worked with and supported throughout the years, which at this point has been thousands, because we really, if you do the math and you're seeing a couple of hundred of people a year and you're in business 10 years and you're not even talking about the people that you've been in front of workshops with, which are just groups of people. We're just saying one-on-one. You start sort of getting an idea of what people are like, right? And when we do the math of 10 years, we start to see similarities. A lot of people feel very lonely. People feel underappreciated. So many people we met were making the most important life decisions, and they felt unsupported or unmet, or they didn't have anybody in their family. It didn't matter if they were really high income or low income or nearly homeless. They didn't feel like sometimes they could even talk to their husband, to their wife, to their sister. So really, when she says it's about relationships, let me tell you the miracle of just how beautiful God works. In 2022 is the first year since we've been in business that we really made no money, because we closed our shop. We weren't able to get any gigs in New York City because anybody that we had built long connecting contracts with, if they were in contract with the government through like a nonprofit, and there was this still an outstanding COVID policy, which I know that just I think last week or 2 weeks ago they officially ended the COVID mandates, but I do not know how that translates into paper. So gig workers cannot really get employment. So when I tell you we are here and God is good, because we have not, everything has been provided for. Yeah. You know, when you realize, okay, this was a dark moment in our financial path, but we are still here. We've met some amazing people like yourself, Bianca, you know, and your story is so powerful, your testimony, because you had a vision. You had no idea that you touched us over here. We didn't even know who you were. Right. And so imagine us being in this wokey pokey New York land, where if you dare to wear a red hat, you might get into an altercation with someone who just gets upset with you. And you're seeing remnants of Latinos who are unabashedly just saying, no, esto no es así, and I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna be in my full expression. And we're here in New York, known to be the big moms of the capital of the world, and we were like this. If we talk, we might get beat up.
I know, we literally were walking around and when COVID really hit, because like you were saying earlier, Bianca, you know, it happened, freedoms, they started to attack our freedoms here, and it happened so quickly. And we all understand already that these things have been in motion for a very long time, because as she said as well, you know, siempre empieza with the little things here and there, tiny little, and you like let it go, or you ignore it, or you don't even know it's happening, right? But then fast forward. So, and then fast forward, aquí estamos, COVID hits, and it's like you literally feel like the rug just got pulled right under your feet, and every day there was something new. It was the most like, it was the most humbling experience, right? To see, to actually witness it and experience it in real time, this attack on our freedoms, and the way it happened so quickly. And we're looking around like, how is this even happening in one of the supposed toughest places in the country? Aren't we the ones that have the biggest mouths? Aren't we the ones that don't accept, you know, BS? Aren't we the ones that are going to put up a fight? And we were like, oh no. So we went out there to join the freedom movement. We were like, we're going to be representing for the Latinos. We're not sleepy. Nosotros estamos aquí.
I love it.
We're going to do it.
Despiertos en Wokey Pokey land.
I love it. You all have, I mean, you're definitely, again, what did I say? We're history makers, we're game changers. You're changing the game. I think a lot of our Latino community, I get this question all the time, y'all, all the time. We don't have the Jesse Jackson and the Al Sharpton. We don't have those people on the Latino end. We don't. We really don't. We don't have that one Latino out there or two Latinos out there that you say, we go to that person for everything because they get stuff done. And so we have to kind of fight a little bit harder to do that. And so as we see this uprise in the Latino community trying to say, like you just said, hey, wait a minute, we're going to join this fight because you're not just going to come and trample all over our rights that we have as citizens of this country. We have constitutional rights. And so, as we see this uprising of the Latino community, we need those leaders. We need to unite and work together to help each other out, to give each other the left says this all the time. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. That's right. Sí se puede. The same way that they say it, we should be able to say it too, because it is applicable. It's applicable to us to say, we can do that too. We can stand up and fight for what we think is right. We think that those are our freedoms and our liberties. That's, I'm not going to, you want to wear purple hair? Wear your purple hair. I'm not going to go tell you can't wear purple hair, but don't tell me that I have to do this, that I have to accept what you're telling me to do. That the logic never fit. This whole thing about the Me Too movement, right? For women, feminism. Oh, you're supposed to stand up for the women and women want equality, and all this nonsense, to me, all of that. And it was like, my body, my choice. But all that in COVID went out the door. Me and you, our body and our choice wasn't no longer our body, our choice. We were no longer Me Too and feminism movement. We were now being told, you're going to kill people. You better wear this and you better stay in your house and you better. And we're like, whoa, what happened to I can choose? All of a sudden I can't choose, but you want to tell me what I can and cannot choose? All of a sudden, all the logic went out the door, and it was like these tyrannical beings of people. Well, the one community that I know for a fact that doesn't take it laying down is our community. I don't care if you are in the barrio and you are, gangster to the core, in and out of prison. Number one, gangsters like their guns. You ain't going to come tell them whether it's illegal, not illegal. Gangsters like their freedom to move, to sell, to have their guns. They don't want their rights, regardless of whether they're doing illegal activity. They don't even like to be told what to do. This is a wrong community to be pushing to the corner to try to tell us we can not do certain things. We've always been entrepreneurs. Our community has been the entrepreneurs. If it takes selling something out of this in a corner and out of our car to make sure we have food on our table, we will go to those lengths to do that. We will work 2-3 jobs. I know a lot of people in the Latino community that will work 2-3 jobs just to make sure that their kids have what they need, to make sure that they can cover their bills. They will work. We are the contributing force to this country. Right now, if you go into any restaurant, who is cooking the food? Who's cooking the food in an Italian restaurant? Mexicans, Latinos. Who's cooking the Chinese food? Latinos. Who's cooking the barbecue? Latinos. Who's cooking, the Mexican food? Latinos. Who is the one that's cleaning up everything that needs to be cleaned up? The Latinos. We are the driving workforce, and we're not just the cleaner uppers, and we're not just those people that are the cookers. We're also doctors, engineers, we're also lawyers, we are also professionals, and we're business owners, and we have the fastest growing businesses in the country. The Latinos, okay, so you're a yardman, but guess who owns that yard company? The Latino. He's not just the yardman. He is the one that actually owns the business and has the crews and sends them out to go and do the yards. Same thing in the maid industry. Who are the majority of the maids? The Latino community. But who owns those companies? Probably Latinas. They're the ones that own the company. So we don't just contribute into the workforce. We're the ones actually owning the businesses that are contributing to the workforce. But I feel that our communities don't get the respect. We don't get the respect from anybody. They treat us like we're second-class citizens. They try to tell us what we can and cannot do, what table we cannot and cannot sit at, and that is what I think you're seeing the Latino movement. We need, and tell me if I'm wrong or right, we need a Cesar Chavez movement like we have never seen before in this country, being led by Latinos, by the people who are saying, hey, you know what? I get what you believe. I believe this. Respect what I believe. I'll respect what you believe. It doesn't mean I'm going to advocate for it. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree to it. But at the end of the day, our communities are at risk of freedom and liberty. We're losing just as much, and we have the majority in numbers. If we can just get these, knuckleheads, right, to say, you know what, we're going to join you in the fight, not because we believe in your red hat, no red hat, whatever, but because at the end of the day, we have to put those things aside and say, at the end of the day, all of our quality of life is fixing to go down the drain, and everything that our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, what they have fought for in this country, what they've worked for in this country, and what they left other countries to come to this country will all go down the toilet. All of it. We will now be enslaved into this new, whatever you want to call it. People want to call it a new world order. I don't care what you call it. We're going to be enslaved into a system that we don't agree with. And we, of all people, should have every right to lead that movement across the country, because what did I just say? We are the workforce. We are the owners of these workforces. We could literally go on strike tomorrow and everything in this country would come to a halt. It would come to a halt. Tell me if I am right or wrong on this, because if you sat there and said, we're going to strike across the board, all the Latinos do not show up to work this week. Don't go to the restaurants. Don't go to clean a house. Don't report to your city. If you work at the city, don't go to work. If you're an attorney, don't go to work. This whole country would literally fall to its knees to say, oh crap, what are we gonna do? We ain't got workforce reporting to work. We have to do something so big and drastic that way to finally say enough is enough. You're not gonna take advantage of us anymore. You're not gonna come and infringe in our constitutional rights. You're not going to do any of this anymore. You're not going to tell our children that you have to accept that, you can all go to each other's bathrooms while you're at school. You're not going to tell our children this nonsense anymore. You're going to respect. You're going to respect our households. You're going to respect my abuelita and my abuelo. You're going to respect us because we deserve that respect.
Woo! Fuego.
Yes.
Yes, we love that.
I don't know where that came from, sisters. I don't know where that came from.
Pero
but I am
mira,
just estoy aquí hasta estoy hasta aquí, como dice mi hermano de California, basto, ya estoy enfadado, basto con todo esto. I'm just to the point where I'm done with it.
You know what? A mí me encantaría to witness, to be a part of something of that magnitude. Because I agree with you 100%. If we all, like you said, and my sister and I have been very big with this message about unifying. Like we all have to come to the sandbox and play together for the common purpose of our day-to-day needs, the universal, the priorities, freedom, family, our faith, our ability to just live and make the choices and have the freedom to choose the way we want to create our lives at home. To the way we want to parent our children, the education it's like we could go on and on and on in all the ways that, we're seeing our society literally crumble todos los días. And it does go against so many of our belief systems at the core, because us Latinos, we are very different, and that's one of the beautiful things about us Latinos, that there's so much differences and such beauty in that diversity. But at the same time, within our core, at the end of the day, we tend to kind of have a lot of universal
big
component. Yeah. And so when it comes to certain, we all do have our limits. And what would happen if we all finally decided, no vamos a pelear, it is time that we sent a message? Because al fin del día, and to your point, Bianca, it always comes down to el dinero, the money, right? Follow the money. If we could come together and do something so big and send such a message, not only that we are coming together in unison, but that it could affect the economy in dollars, directly, and create that impact.
Yes.
People will start taking us serious. All of a sudden, that halt will humble those representing us and in power right now.
That's right.
And I feel like there's so many Latinos around the country that are beginning to finally, wake up and put those pieces together and understand that, this is bigger than whatever difference I may have with you, or whatever disagreement. We can kind of shelf those things for now.
Yeah.
We could come to the table later if we need to come at it later. Pero ahora we got to prioritize. ¿Y cuáles son las prioridades?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and like she said, and as we've recognized, there are Latinos who are in different parts of the country who have activated their communities, and they come from all fronts. There are a whole bunch of Latino Democrats who are saying, nosotros tenemos, we are not going to play along with this insanity. You guys keep taking advantage of us. We've given you our vote time and time again. I also believe what's also beautiful is that now you've seen, before maybe they were trying to stop the trickle of the Latino voices coming through any of the streams, whether it was mainstream or alternative. Pero ya esto pasó. Like the trickles are everywhere, right? And our voices and our messages, they're being populated by little tiny videos, and everybody keeps sharing it. And what I would like to just leave as a message for the community is that we do need your voice. I understand that it's, depending on where you live, it might be a little scary to go against the grain, but we are asking you to think beyond this moment and look ahead into the future, because everything that we do and do not do is adding to what we will see in the future. And being silent and not participating gets seen as, oh, okay, they agree with us. They must like more of these mandates. Oh, they love the vaccine so much. We're going to now put it on the schedule for not only adults, but also the children, because we don't really hear them complaining too much.
And that's right. We're not getting up to complain. We're stronger in numbers. That's the thing. We're stronger in numbers. And so you're exactly right. Back in 2016, when we started the Latinos, the Latino Trump movement, it wasn't so much I don't know. I can't speak for every single leader that came out of the Latino movement, or the Latino Trump movement. But for me, and I said it all across, all kinds of people that I interviewed with all the time. But I always would tell them, it's not about Trump himself. And they would say, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, he's only allowed us to become bold and to start speaking up about what we believe in. When he said, Mexico's sending you, not your best, he didn't mean every single Mexican. We knew what he meant. We knew in our communities what he meant. We knew that there was bad people, bad hombres coming across. We knew that. But everybody wanted to be like, oh, well, he's racist. And he called. No. There was a bigger picture. And I used to tell this to people. He emboldened us to start talking about the very things that are hurting our community that we weren't talking. And it's like you said, pues we don't say nothing, so everybody thinks that it's all okay. But it isn't okay. It isn't okay, but we just weren't speaking out. We are more powerful in numbers, and you're exactly right. The unity part, has to come together where we start really uniting and saying, okay, look, we're not going to focus so much on all, like whether it's the abortion issue or whether it's this vaccine issue. But what we do need to start talking about is our very own core principles, about our family, being able to work, being able to be free to work, and where to work, and not be mandated at work that we have to meet certain criteria and have vaccine cards and not vaccine cards and masked up still. We should be able to have those freedoms. So I think you're right. I think we have to lead that movement. We're going to have to unite somehow and find people from all walks of life, right? We're going to have to find all the walks of life. And this has been done. When you're talking about how they silenced us in 2016, 2017, when Trump was running for office, they kept trying to say, oh, he's only going to get 8, 9, maybe 11% of the Latino vote. And I'm like, no, he's not. Because I was on the ground talking to people. I was on the ground doing the flag waves. I was on the ground, during the car, honking in the car, whatever it was. We were on the ground. So, but you know what they started to do to us? You're exactly right. They started to silence us. I can't tell you how many Facebook pages we lost. We lost so many Facebook pages. They would grow so fast. Crecían las páginas. We would have we'd go overnight. We'd climb 20,000 people all of a sudden because they were like, whoa, our gente is like, what's going on over there? Le gusta el chisme. Le gusta andar a ver qué está pasando. ¿Qué está pasando allá? ¿Qué está pasando allá? ¿Qué andan haciendo? ¿Qué andan haciendo aquellas? So everybody wanted to find out what we were doing. But the media didn't want us to be portrayed out there. They didn't want anybody to know that the Latinos were speaking out, talking, that Lord forbid, they agreed with Trump on anything. So literally our pages, 100,000 followers, they wipe out. No reason given. None. They wouldn't even tell us. The page would just be gone. We'd have to open up another one. We were playing like whack-a-mole. Open up another one, open up another one, open up another one. And we struggled all the time with these pages, and they would silence us and censor us. And even the media who used to interview me, they take a 5-minute conversation with me. They would take 15 seconds of something and turn it into something and make it look like I said something that I didn't say. So, but what I always said, and I used to say this in 2016, I said, the more of us speaking, the more of us, they can't stop us all. So if we had people in New York, we have people in North Carolina, we have people in Chicago, we have people in Utah, Colorado, LA, we have people here in Texas, Florida, we had people, and I said, all of y'all, if they now will have to play whack-a-mole with us. One of you pops up over here, the other one pops over here, and then we started to share each other's stuff. So we were popping up everywhere, and you couldn't stop us. You couldn't stop us. I said, until we get to that level where it's too many of us popping up, they can't keep us all from talking. They just can't. So we are more powerful in numbers. You're exactly right. We're more powerful in numbers, and we got to start sharing. There was a period of time where it was like, no, I'm not going to share their stuff, because then they become more popular than me. I'm like, are you kidding me? People were worried about their own self agenda and their own page. They didn't want to share your stuff because Lord forbid you get more followers than they do. Weren't we all in it to try to get the message across of what we were trying to stand up for our own community? What happens here in Texas may not be exactly what fits for New York. What happens in Texas doesn't maybe fit exactly with California, but at the end of the day, we still believe that we are hardworking people, God-loving people, family-oriented people. And at the end of the day, all those things matter. We want to make sure we have good, clean water that we can drink out of, right? And take a bath in, not some yellow water coming out of our showers. We want to make sure that we don't have potholes everywhere in our streets where we drive. We want to make sure that that we can safely go outside at night without worrying that we're going to get shot up because a bad drug deal went down. We care about the quality of life too at the end of the day. It's not just the abortion issue that drives us. It's not just the vaccine that drives us. There are common quality of life issues that we care about. If we want to sell tamales, we should be able to sell tamales, and nobody should regulate whether, how, and what we sell tamales. They just, we need to have those freedoms. And that's what I think, that the more that we unite, this whole Latinos for Trump, I still have that organization, but I don't function as, with it as much anymore because we moved towards the Latinos for America first. So this whole movement that I'm talking about, this united movement to say, you know what, we're going to go ahead, we're going to call out all Latinos across the country. We're going to create such a big movement, and we're going to put a halt everywhere in this country. And we're going to take a knee and say, you know what? Now it's our turn to say stop with the nonsense. We're not going to report to work. We're not going to do any of this thing. And we're going to make America feel it. And you're going to give us the respect. You're going to give us the respect that we deserve because we're hardworking people that just want the same part of the American dream. So many of us have achieved American dreams, but we're not even able to talk about it because we're being convoluted by all this other garbage out there. But you're right. We are stronger in numbers. You guys have to keep you have to keep inspiring, training, and mentoring other people in New York where you all are at. You have to start telling the people, don't rely on me to be the only person to come out here and film and talk about things. You need to start posting about this thing because, my base may not be your base. You have different friends than I do. You have to spread the word. We have to make it to where it's so massive. We have the numbers, but the Latinos have not figured out a way to work together. They're too busy. La envidia kicks in. Una quiere ser más que la otra. No le gustó esto. We get into all these things, and that's what ends up keeping our community from advancing. And we need to come to a point where we say, enough of that, for the common good right now, for us to take a stance and really prove who we are, that we're just God-loving people, family-oriented people, and a hard work ethic that we have. And we need to be respected for it. And that's what I think needs to happen. And so I'm so happy that you all are here, with me on the show tonight. And I know we've talked about a lot of this, but I do want to get y'all's input on, there's a lot going on in our country. There's a lot. There's balloons that have been shot out of the sky, which I think is the craziest thing ever. All of a sudden there's a week full of balloons that we're shooting out of the sky. What's going on right now? There's no balloons. There wasn't balloons last month or last year or 5 years ago. All of a sudden we're shooting balloons out of the sky. You got all this money going to Ukraine. Literally. We have veterans that are dying on the street right now. We have homeless children. We have, sex trafficked children. but we're sending all of our millions of dollars to Ukraine. We've got the derailments of all these. All of a sudden, our infrastructure is being attacked. We got all these derailments of the trains issues going on. We've got issues with people saying that they're now, polluting our lakes, rivers, and our water system. Didn't we just talk about the quality of life that's going to affect our community? The drinking water, the color of the water that's going to come out when we take a shower. What are we talking about here? What do y'all see with all this nonsense? Do you think it's just a distraction? Do you think that somebody's trying to take us down as a country? What are you hearing in New York? Is anybody concerned? Does anybody even care? I mean, where do y'all fit into this? ¿Qué creen ustedes? I mean, you guys are out there. I mean, what's going on?
I think that the China spy balloon definitely awakened conversations of people who then started to look up for a change, right? And when you look up, you see things that like chemtrails and all that other stuff, which leads to other things and other discussions, pero that it now you have people kind of looking up. But I find that fascinating because everybody was looking up donde estaba all these not little train derailments, but you have all these derrame, and I'm like, we need to be looking at that right now. We need to be examining the water. It's baffling to me. I mean, we have been speaking about this privately and also with our community members that we're part of here in the activism in New York, which is either political or medical mandates or health freedom. I mean, there's different groups. Everybody seems to kind of think, and I think we're sort of thinking the same thing. It sort of feels like we might be under some sort of attack in the United States, and they may not know how to tell the American people just yet.
That's what you guys are feeling?
I just feel 100% there is an attack, and they're coming after the things we need the most, and coincidentally, the things that if you control la gente. Food, water, our air, our ability to go to work, our day-to-day needs. It's not even about, it's like, I feel like it's gotten to a point where it's not even about what you feel with this or that, or if you want to be active, or if you feel brave enough. I feel like we've entered this stage like, yo, we have to like wake up. It is goal time. This is goal. Everybody, we need all hands on deck.
We need job.
You're right. We need everybody on the ground, and very important to note that todo el mundo doesn't have to do the same thing. Like when we say unify, when we say we need all hands on deck, it doesn't mean that you got to do exactly what I do or what you do or what that person does. No, find what you're good at, find what you're passionate about that's going to help this us in this moment, and let's go. Because so many things. Yes, we can look at all these aspects, like when the balloons started happening, and it was all these stories. At the end of the day, it was also some form of distraction, right? As per usual. And so I feel like there's been a few things happening at once. It's like a combination of distraction. It's like, where are we going to put their eyes so that we could do something else, but yet attack? Because, like, how else do you explain that all of a sudden, coincidentally, we're going to have all these railroad situation crashes breaking down. We're going to have all these pollutants in water sources. We're going to have, the other one that mainstream media never covers is all the mysterious fires in all the food factories that have occurred in the last, 18 months
Las gallinas,
all over this country.
Chickens. The chickens.
Los huevos, right? The chickens. Like, how is it? Like, even the farmers. Listen, I listen to a lot of, I follow a lot of people. I like to learn from all types of communities, even those outside of me. And even listening to the farmers talk about, hey, there's a particular feed that I was feeding my chickens that all of a sudden made them stop laying eggs.
That's terrible.
And I switched it, and all of a sudden, miraculously, they're laying eggs. Listen, is it conspiracy? Is it coincidence? Or is it really what we all feel it is, which is an attack? And I feel like it's a combination of within and without.
The enemy has been within, and hasn't there been the border been so wide open?
Yep.
Could that also be open? I mean, it's an
that little thing,
but it's an interesting. It's an interesting, like, mezcla, because if you have the cities that I don't know, name a city and let's talk about the asquerosidades, right? Let's talk about the outward drugs that we're seeing. We can
The
ride,
crime.
look, the other day we were on our way to cover a rally in the city, and next thing you know, 2 seconds later, me and my sister are jumping out of our train because across the track, a man had fallen into the track. I think, I don't know if he was drunk. Was he drunk?
And he was not well.
He was not
whatever
well.
It was.
He
I don't know
dropped
if
his
was,
wallet,
yeah.
and and really close to the edge of the platform, and all of a sudden, like, he lost his balance. He fell out, and he was out cold. So then we start screaming for help, right? Guess what's happening? The train's approaching. Those trains don't stop. They can't
they
even
don't.
see. So I'm like, God gave me a big mouth. I know I don't have the strength to. So I went down screaming the platform, stop the train! And all of a sudden, all these other people and thank God, 2 brave men with
my
all
goodness.
of their adrenaline jumped in, picked up the guy. He was still out, but the guy ended up magically waking up when his body hit the concrete floor.
Wow.
And then when he started to see who his first faces, he was like, "Why did you throw me on the concrete for?" We were like, "Yo, we just saved your life."
Hey, actually that day we walked away from that particular situation feeling proud of our New Yorkers because
Heroic.
everyone that was there was played a very active role, whether they were yelling, calling,
Calling, getting help within the station, or
right. So but everyone was being proactive, and that is the key word here, which is the one thing we've seen diminish here in this city, especially for the last few years. It's like the time of being dormant has ended. There is no. I don't think we can risk continuing to allow ourselves to be distracted with day to day, pelea or fry or whatever it is that you want to give your attention to.
Right.
And not acknowledge and see what is happening literally right under our feet every single day. I mean, definitely, like you had said at the beginning, Bianca, New York has been one of the toughest places to live, and it has been a big lesson on dealing with and being around people and humanity, because my gosh, I have never seen a people almost turn on you so quickly, because all of a sudden you were seeing something that they weren't, and therefore you were, using your every right
Yes.
to live and trust what you were feeling guided you needed to do for your life, your lifestyle, and your family. But my gosh, how quickly humanity turned on each other, the amount of shame and fury that was coming out, and we saw examples of that all over the country. But that in and of itself was also like a psyop on us, it's like brainwashing you to want to be angry and enraged, to want to hate on each other because you're doing something different,
and fake virtual signaling.
Oh my gosh,
I can see your nose, so you're gonna have to put on your mask because
it's ridiculous.
I'm working here and I want to visit grandma and I don't want to get sick because of you. Literally, that was the messages we kept hearing over and over and over again.
And it's just,
They got so indoctrinated.
Indoctrinated.
To this day, Bianca, we are seeing people in New York with doble máscara.
Oh my goodness.
And even face shields.
And it's happening even more now, like whatever there's, again, the rhetoric is going up. So now people are, and the sad part is, Bianca, and I know see it all over the country, is that at this point people don't even need to tell you anymore. People are so indoctrinated that they do it voluntarily now.
And they feel safe. Now there's a phenomenon of people afraid to take their masks off because they feel safe with it.
It's conditioning. They conditioned them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they conditioned them, the society, they conditioned them to automatically, they really believe that that's the only thing that's going to keep them safe. They don't want to listen to the science. They don't, the new science, the real science is coming out, right? That they cannot hide it anymore. Pfizer cannot hide it anymore. The what is it? The NIH and the CDC, they cannot hide it anymore. The numbers are coming out, but nobody is covering this anymore. Only the few little podcasts here and there, so it's not like in the masses of people that these people who were conditioned, they're not paying attention to that. They don't hear that. They think, oh my God, another vaccine. Oh my God, I got to go get vaxxed. Oh my God, I got to keep myself because that person's not wearing a mask. They are so conditioned. They're living in fear. And the church is very much held accountable and responsible because the church itself, pastores, ministers, priests, I don't care if you're in the church, in any part of a church, you should have never tolerated that. You should have sat there and said, we believe we are covered in the blood of Jesus. We believe that, that the Lord is who he says he is. And hey, if it's your time to go, it's going to be your time to go. And there ain't nothing COVID, nothing going to keep it from happening when it's your time to go. But let me tell you something. They should have been saying, what are we talking about? This is Jesus, Holy Spirit. Like, we're the ones that we're the ones that our Father is a healer. Like, what happened to that whole doctrine? What happened to the Bible? What happened to what Jesus left us with? We didn't believe in that no more. All of a sudden, we were going to believe in man over God, man over, a science over God. We're going to believe all of that. Like, where is the sense? So the church is very much to blame. And I would tell that to pastors all the time that, ay, hermana, no queremos estar culpables para que se muera la gente. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Do you hear yourself? You don't deserve to be a pastor. Yo les decía, you don't deserve to be a pastor because you don't believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. Ay, pero hermana, no, you don't. You need to be stripped. You need to lose your church. You need to not be a pastor. You are everything against what the Lord told us and tells us in the Bible to believe. That's the mentality, what we're fighting. We're fighting with that mentality. We're fighting with a mindset. And that is very sad. And that's where I think that, we have to have more bold and courageous Latinos to tell the other Latinos, hey, here's something I need you to read. Here's an article. Just read it. You can't controversy with them, but at least give them something, hand them something over and say, read this. This is the latest CDC report or something that just came out. Give them something to read so they can be like, what? And don't just believe that article. Go investigate it. This is the only way we're going to break those mindsets.
You know what's hard? Like, look, with everything that has come out, and even Eric Adams here in New York City reversing the mandates, which we believe that it's because there are many lawsuits against the city, and there are also lawsuits against Mayor Adams, and we know of a few people who are behind these lawsuits. So if you hear him, the other day he gave, like, I guess the state of New York, I forget what that specific speech
the
is
state
called.
of New York, yeah.
Right, and then there's also a little snippet of him saying, we believe that everybody has the right to make their own choices, informed choices with their doctors. I'm like, you are such a big hypocrite. And then when he was giving the state of New York, let's just say the way he painted New York City, my sister and I were really puzzled. We were like, which New York does he live in? Is it a different earth in New York City? Because we want to go to that parallel universe, because we're not seeing the same New York. He accolades himself. We're doing such a great job. The New York subway system is safer than ever. History will show that we were. And I tweeted at him. I was like, which New York City are you in? I want to live there with you, Mr. Eric Adams. But they gaslight. He's so busy hanging out with the celebrities.
Oh yeah, it's. I literally feels like we're living in a satire sometimes here
Yeah.
in the city.
Truman Show.
Oh,
The
my
Truman Show,
goodness.
yeah, but how is it that our people haven't heard that message and they're still masking up and putting on the shield and everything? It's like, have you not heard that even the mayor is saying this, that you trust it so much? So that's what I'm saying, is that how is it that they're not getting this message? Is it, that's what baffles me so much.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's an ongoing question that we all have, and I think it's a couple different things. One, I also feel that a lot of our people are more on survival mode in their day to day. So they're like, get up, you know, it's like a routine. Get up, work, come back, cook, kids, go to sleep, do it again, repeat, you know. And in that robotic, you know, hustle survival mode, you're literally not paying attention to anything other than checking off your list half the time, you know.
Right, because New York City is one of the most expensive cities.
I mean,
I don't
people,
even know.
Yeah,
Everything's going up. A slice of pizza in one restaurant is $4.25.
What?
yeah, and meanwhile, yeah, back in the day, for $5 you would get 2 slices
And a soda.
and a soda. So just to give you a
Before
little
COVID,
comparison.
I remember this.
So it's
deal.
like, how are these families even supporting these children? Half the time you're wondering, you know. And like you have pointed out earlier in the show, you know, mucha gente se han ido. A lot of people have left the city, and a lot of people are planning to continue to leave the city. You know, quality of life here in the city has gotten very challenging, you know. That and you know, another perspective with why we also feel like our people are not connecting is because the way that they receive their information, you know, Telemundo, you know, like all of the Univision, and they're all, you know, just vomiting
AOC.
the same things, you know, over and over. You know, the only rhetoric, if they're gonna talk about Latinos, is always more on the fearful, negative thing. You know, they're never showing you other Latinos, giving you another perspective.
And they
you
have
know?
so much compassionate sympathy for Biden. I no hables
Ay,
mal
sí, el
del
viejito.
presidente, el viejito.
Ay, Dios mío.
Hable de él con más respeto, por favor.
It's all like, you know, mind. It's psychological.
It's the
So
mind.
it's like all they're receiving, their only source of information or learning anything is one rhetoric, is to keep you stagnant, afraid, and anxious. So if you're not moving outside of that or pushing yourself to try to hear another perspective or receive something else, it's really hard for you to, you know, for that space to be, you know, shook enough for you to, you know, learn something else. So, you know, we do have, you know, these real issues with lifestyle and people's habits that keep people in this place of not knowing.
Yes. So what do you all feel that, you know, I think the sentiment out here is, and it's everywhere, really, to be honest, the sentiment is everywhere. What do you all feel that are some maybe really common or not common, but low-key easy solutions to some of these things? What do you think is going to be effective that we can do, that's easily, that doesn't require a whole lot of money, but that we can do actively? Like, what is something that maybe you guys have already tried and you're like, hey, this is kind of effective and it's working, and it's not a massive thing, but it's little by little, like baby steps. Have y'all thought about some, like, hey, how do we get this done in our community without too much effort? You know, what are some of these solutions that you all are thinking about?
I think part of it is, I would say, similar to maybe what we were doing before, you know, where are la gente, are so many of our people están en la iglesia, you know, having a little coffee break with the people at church before or after mass. I mean, many churches already have that tradition.
Right.
And these are ways where people who are active within their churches, these are small ways where, let's just say you're listening to Bianca and she's giving you an update, and you already know that you have this group of people in your church of people who are active. Then that's the way when each one can teach one. Because it's like my sister said, everybody's doing different things. Like, look, all of our days are so busy.
Yes.
We have a beautiful community of people who sends us little clips all of the time that end up making it to the show, because the news cycle is moving so fast, right? So
Yes.
in that way, you know, and a lot of these people don't want their names associated with anything because they're private people. So, but they
Yes.
want to feel helpful to know, right, that they can support like a Cafecito break, right? So those are little digital, I don't, not little in terms of their efforts, but the small ways where you can be helpful to even people like us. Like when you watch what Bianca is putting out there, liking, sharing, commenting, that's the free and easy way that you can even be the most supportive, because we're putting out timely content that has to do with things we're finding out from our communities, and some of the communities that we're talking about are more plugged in than you realize, or are directly impacting policy and conversation. So
Right.
this is the best way that you can help any of us, right? Or the people who are on the ground, is sharing our work, because we don't really have time or the budgets yet to do our own promotion. But like you said, Bianca, our people, when we know or we want to find out information, we will gather quickly and move that information flow fast. What hasn't been helpful to any of us is the amount of censorship, right? So when you were saying that your page grew and then they would take it down, like one of the reasons we ended up connecting with some of the activists in the New York Freedom Movement is that they had their pages was so much bigger than ours. Yet we kept posting, and it was funny. Instagram would take down our video almost immediately, and maybe it was because we just posted a video with the person who was running against Mayor Eric Adams.
Yeah.
So it had, like,
They
they
do.
didn't even allow that
It's communism.
alternative message to even penetrate.
Yes, it's straight up communism, straight up control. It's no different than what they did, what Hitler did in the Nazis. You couldn't get that information out. You know, it had to do that. You know, one of the things that I will encourage you on. I'm not sure. I think I see y'all doing stuff, but I don't know if y'all have done this part. But you do see a lot of parents that are speaking out at the school boards, at the city councils, the commissioners court, you know, those kind of the things. And so that's free advertisement, you know, to be honest. When you go and take, you know, 3 minutes, I think they give you like 3 minutes as a max. But if you go and start looking and saying, hey, when are these meetings taking place? And we're concerned about, you know, these things or whatever. And I think that, you know, is a little advertisement, you know, always walk around with something that has a Cafecito Sisters, right, or Cafecito Break, that people can go find you. But starting to speak out in those, you know, kind of forums, those are televised. If y'all know, you know, they're televised through the municipal channels. So like the, you know, especially 65 and older people, they tune into that. And so, you know, I think that organizing some type of, you know, a movement or some type of when you want to get a message out, you know, go and speak about it at one of these open, you know, public hearings, because then not only is it televised, it goes into the real public meeting minutes, so they can't delete it. They can't delete you. So that's another way, you know, to start getting the message out there little by little, you know, and it doesn't have, you know, you just have to figure out what it is that you want to go and talk about, you know, look at to see what's on the agenda, see what, you know, they're going to pass some money. Listen, that's the thing. They always have this budget. They're always funding something, where they're going to move money, who they're going to give, what division they're going to give money to. You know, start speaking out about those things. Start speaking out about, you know, the things that are, you know, are affecting your immediate community. I was in Wisconsin, and I was walking around with some, you know, I mean, I don't know if they're like gangsters, but they're in and out of prison. So they're like, you know, in and out of jail, I should say, you know, kind of kids, but they have a good heart. They, you know, they have a good heart, but they're having to hustle because there is no jobs in their area. And so, believe it or not, you know, I asked them, what is y'all's, you know, complaint around here? You would have thought, well, it's everybody selling drugs on the street, or, you know, yeah, it was the fact that there was a lack of jobs, but their number one complaint is abandoned buildings. And I thought, what? Here we are, you know, trying to fight for our freedom and liberty, and the only thing they cared about in their community is the abandoned buildings. and I was walking around with in the Black community, and I said, abandoned buildings. I said, yeah, come out with us. So they literally took me walking around everywhere, and I kid you not, there's abandoned buildings everywhere. There's like some decent, nice houses, and there's abandoned buildings all over the place. And they said, what we don't understand is why the politicians don't allot certain money and renovate these buildings and turn them into like, like little what is it, areas that we can go to, satellite little offices where they can teach us job training, like, where they can teach us how to fill out an application to even get a job. Some of us don't know even how to fill out an application, but we need to work. We have to work. And so, and I thought, that's pretty sad that these gangsters, that they're just really quality of life again. They just really do want to work, but they have all odds against them. They don't really have the money. So they have to hustle out on the street to try to even just survive. And they get, thrown in and out of jail. They're always in and out of jail. And I told them, and I said, have you all ever, they said, we don't even know who owns these buildings. But, one kid was like, this building's been there abandoned since I was in diapers. I remember my mom walking by, to the bodega or whatever, with this abandoned building forever. And I said, that you can find out who owns these buildings? And they're like, no. So I told them it was real easy steps of how to go through your county to find out who owns these buildings and do an open record act and find out who has these buildings, and then I said, use this knowledge and go to your commissioner's court or your council court, the council meetings, and say, these are the following addresses that are in my community. And they've been there abandoned for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is. Say, I want to know why this owner hasn't been held accountable and responsible for the abandoned building. Why are you not doing an abatement? Why are you not doing a code enforcement? Why are you not investing in the youth in our community? Why are you not putting some kind of community center where, we can go for help, where we can, find, maybe learn how to do these just basic job skills, something that, that we can go out to work, because there's kids that do want to go work. And so that's what they're up against. And I thought, all these things going on in the country, and the one thing they cared about is the abandoned buildings in their community, because it made their community look ugly, nasty. You drive by and you're like, there's abandoned buildings with broken, windows, and they look like, what an abandoned building looks like. It's terrible. So it gives them no confidence in their community. They feel even more poorer, right? They feel like they're up against all odds, and they say there's no jobs here. So that's what we're talking about, is that quality of life, and we need to get back to it. And so that's another common, or another, I guess, solution, that we need to be more vocal at these community halls, town halls, city councils, school boards, and just and what we have to teach people is, because we get so caught up, we get very emotional. I'm a very passionate person, but we have to train and teach our people to say, hey, you get 3 minutes here. In order to make your message effective, you're gonna have to let's teach you what to say. What are the things that you want to make sure that you put out? What are the things that are concerning you? Okay, let's make sure you stay on topic and you don't gear out, because a lot of people are not very good at public speaking. So you have to kind of train them and say, hey, estas tres cosas, porque en un minuto vas a decir esto, en el segundo minuto vas a decir esto, y en el tercero minuto vas a decir eso. And then make it a point to say, that we want action. And I think once that these elected officials start seeing que la comunidad está hablando de algo y que les importa, and then they can't silence you, go question them about the COVID numbers now coming out. Hey, yo vi de un reporte, ustedes cerraron esto, you're trying to do this, you're trying to mandate this, but take little quotes from each report, that doctors' reports, according to this, CDC, according to this doctor here, according to this was in the paper, these are the numbers coming out. Why are you lying to our community? Or why are you not telling us the truth? We want to know what's going on. Go into and approach them and start holding them accountable, putting their feet to the fire and saying, hey, you're responsible because you're representing me. We put you in that position. Do we need to find somebody else that's going to listen to us and give us answers? And you don't have to be so ugly and disruptive, but put them in the spot. Make them have to answer these questions, and that's powerful because it can't silence us, but then you can take those clips and then put them out and say, look, me and my sister were over here. We showed up at city council and we asked, and it just takes a little bit of research. We have access to that. We have access to the research, get a couple of little quotes, put it together and go start speaking out, and say, we're here representing, talk to a couple of neighbors. You all very community organized, get a couple of neighbors and, just even if it's just 5 of your neighbors, someone that in your community, go to 5 people and say, hey, I'm going to go talk at city council. Can I get your support? I'm gonna go speak for you. I want you to read this. Are you okay with me speaking for you? Hey, I got Juanita over here on Elm Street. I got, Mr. Ramos over here on this street. This is who they told me that I have permission to come speak on behalf of them. When they start seeing that you're like, oh crap. Oh, they're talking to people now. They start to listen to you. They start to go, they feel uncomfortable now. They start squirming a little bit in their seats, like, oh, we don't no quieren problema. But you start questioning them, not in an ugly, nasty way, but in just this is our community wants some answers. We're starting to see these reports come out. Do you have an answer for us? Because you're trying to mandate, you still have these, COVID mandated things or whatever, what we have freedoms around here. Juanita over here on Elm Street said she's having to be double masked at work. Whether it's the mindset or not, it doesn't matter. You just still go and speak out for these people. When is she going to get her freedom back? When is Juanita going to feel safe that she can now take her mask off? And obviously being mandated to get a shot isn't cutting it, because we now know based on numbers, there's all these deaths going on. Can you explain this? Because you mandated us to shut down. You mandated us to do this. Can you all now give us an answer to this? Put them on the spot.
Well, we haven't done much of that, but we definitely know people who have. And I'm telling you, these New York politicians, they're very cynical. Even Governor Hochul, with the information and being right, like, they're still like, well, no, I mean, we can't have anybody around us in a health facility. What if, we got to protect our citizens? We can't allow any potential infection. They are still pushing that narrative. And you feel like you're speaking, you might be presenting all the facts. I mean, we know people like Children's Health Defense. They have tirelessly sent letters to all of these people. The activism when there's a pre-filled template and you just fill it out and it goes to your senator or your assembly person. What we have done is we've called them, and we owe a few of them a personal pop-up visits. Because I want to see, what that one-on-one looks like right now, because pre-COVID, it looked a little bit different. And enjoying it. And right now, all these people who we were playing in the same sandbox with, all of a sudden, they're like, I mean, why are politicians still wearing masks? Yep. I mean, Kamala Harris the other day posted a picture holding the hand of a little black girl wearing a mask. And then the caption was something about leading the way and being unapologetic to speak up or whatever. I'm like, what kind of... There's so many things wrong with that. Okay, I have a meltdown, but it's to your point.
But Kamala doesn't even wear the mask.
No, she's not wearing a mask. And just like even Governor Hochul, traveling the next day after she won her dubious election in New York City, goes to New York, goes to Puerto Rico, and is seen dancing without a mask, but all the children are masked. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, la gente, do you not see? Esto no te enfada. This is so wrong. Why is a child being masked? It's almost like, and then the politicians dancing or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Optic wise, this looks bad, and history is going to frown upon these dark times. And those people, like the pastors, like the ministers, like the Pope, that we disavowed when he said that he thought everybody needed to take this gene therapy product. And I thought that was terrible. Not because I was against the vaccine. It's because I'm against anyone who is going to use their position of leadership and recommend something that you apparently haven't researched very well. Because if you had researched just a tiny bit, we knew in March 2020, and with the information that was limited with the trials and the responses that the lab rats were having, that this was not something that the population should be taking.
Right.
We knew that. Y nosotros no somos doctores, médicos, nothing like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have to still keep pushing forward. You still have to keep pushing forward, and we have to start multiplying. So like you said, there's different people, yes, that are already going out there. We have to find more people. We have to
Yes,
find
it's
more
exciting
people,
times.
we have
It
to
is.
find more people, get them activated, and say, we really need you right now. We need you right now. And so you're right. Listen, it's no more of like, well, do I get involved? I know, might, maybe. No, you have to get involved.
It's
Or
go time.
it's go time. If you and your or you and your family are going to have no go time, you're going to be, we're going to be like China, who tells you what subject you're going to study, what job you're going to do, when you can come and go, and they control every aspect of your life. So that's what's going to happen. So I really thank you all for being on. And also, I want to also say, because I didn't say it at the beginning, is that at Latinos for America First, you all are part of our family now. I don't even know if you've gone to the website, but at Latinos for America First, you guys are on our website as our ambassadors, podcasters. We want to help you. Get the word out. We want to help people know when they visit our website, they can go, oh, wow, there's somebody, oh, who are these? If they haven't heard of you or something, they can go and be like, oh, wait, oh, wow, there's a lot of people, right? And so they se animan to get involved, and they're like, oh, wow, there's somebody out here, there's people in my community that I've never met. They don't even know what I do. So you may find somebody from New York that says, man, I'm so tired of this, and they want to get involved, and they don't even know that you're there, because
that happens all the time.
All the time.
Oh my God, I didn't know y'all were here. So it's like, any way that we can help, highlight and help y'all, get the word out and collaborate with y'all. People reach out to me and they say, hey, I'm over here in New York. I'm going to be like, hey, contact these women, contact so-and-so, make sure you get emails and phone numbers, because texting and emailing is when we can't communicate with people in the masses of the normal ways that everybody else does, right? Because we get censored and suppressed. So you have an email and a text message, and you can send people and activate them that way. Make sure you start building those databases and know how to connect with all of your people. And that's what you got to do. And just keep doing what you're doing. Our familia is your familia, and we're very excited that we get to collaborate with y'all. And I'm telling you, God's going to do some amazing things. We're working on a lot of things and in a lot of initiatives. And I know that you two are going to be very much part of all of this movement. Because like I said, it's time to stand up and stand out. It is time to we are el movimiento de la gente. We will be the game changers and the history makers in this time. We will be at the forefront of it. And I know that I can count on y'all, and y'all can count on me, and y'all can count on everybody else. So I thank you all so much for doing everything that you're doing. I'm so honored that you're going to be part of our family, and I'm just excited to start working with y'all here in the near future. And we've been reorganizing and redoing some things and coming out, planning all of our initiatives and stuff. And so we're very excited to have y'all on board and work with us and collaborate with us. And we hope that, as the Lord opens up things and gives us more resources, that we'll be able to pour more into y'all to help y'all continue to do what you're doing in New York. So we thank y'all so much. Y'all are like hermanas. And I know,
We're so excited.
I know we've gone way longer than we probably should, but you know what? I want to make sure that we got to talk about these things, our marketing, she's my, second person, but that y'all haven't met her yet. You're going to love her. Y'all, you're going to love her. Her name is Socorro. She'll, cut down on this podcast and get some highlights, and we'll push them out through Instagram and other social media, but definitely tomorrow, we will definitely, like I said, be in communication, and we just love you. And we thank you so much for being on tonight with us on Friday night. Y'all could have been doing something else. And I thank all of our audience. I ask you to share. If you know anyone in the New York area, if you know anyone in the East Coast that, that's nearby New York, and they don't know what to do or who to talk to, they need a little bit of motivation. We got the Perez sisters right here that are, they've been on the ground, they've been doing their thing, and they can certainly, they're good leaders already. They are showing that they have leadership capabilities to we're all kind of like leading from one side to another, and we're uniting and we're growing in numbers. And you're going to, if you want to be part of that, reach out to us, let us know, and we can try to help you all in getting involved and growing our numbers and our I guess membership, growing it so that we when we shoot out those emails and say it's time to go. Hey, in New York, this is happening. It's time to go. Go support the Perez sisters are there. Go look for them. Go show up. It's time to show up. It's time to do and not sit on the sidelines anymore. So I thank you all so much. For anything, any other last things, where can people find you? I know we've got cafecitobreak.org here, but where else can people find you all on social media?
Well, we want to say first that we are really excited to be a part of Latinos for America First. Estamos en familia, baby.
No, I don't have to have some music here. Where's my music? I'm trying to figure out where my music is. Let's see. I don't even know if there's good music on this thing, but I care. I'm a music person. I'm like, where is my music? That's not a good music. What is that? We need some up music, man. We need some like something that just is uplifting. I guess that's the best I can do with some rock music, man.
We like all of the flavors.
Hey, I need to add some music on here so I can start playing around with some music.
We'll have to redo the celebration with music the next time.
Listen, we're known for bringing our little instruments, noise makers. Blah, blah, blah,
that's
blah.
right. But Bianca, I just wanted to say,
you guys are good.
We always love the added instruments, but we just wanted to say that the moment we met you, there was this immediate sense of familiarity with you, and we were just always really excited. We were just like, we turned around to each other, we're like, don't we know? We feel like we just known her for a long time, and we just physically met her.
Well, like I could see us traveling together.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
We were already like. We were already making plans.
We were already envisioning some sort of work we were going to do together. And perhaps that was God already saying, hey, get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready to stand up and stand out.
Right. Stand up and stand out. I'm telling you, when I interviewed with you and you said, my sister said, she was like, I don't know, but we're going to be working with her. And I'm like, I feel it. I felt it. And Brittany was the same way. Brittany goes, you got to come meet these women. And I'm like, when I saw you, I was like, oh my God, my people, there's more people like me. So you get so excited, and so I was like, oh my God. So yeah, we definitely knew we're like, the Lord is definitely, orchestrating some things and putting us together. And I'm bringing more people together right now. I'm like coming in and bringing in some harvest here, and just kind of, and then once I'm doing this whole thing, it's like we're just going to explode and we're going to go. So I see it happening, and I'm so excited. But I thank y'all so much. I know y'all were
exciting. Thank you, Bianca. To answer your question, cafecitobreak.org is our Substack. So we invite people to subscribe. That way you can find out our podcast events or whatever the updated thing is. But we are pushing a new video Sunday through Thursday on our channel Cafecito Break on rumble.com. So that is our main video platform that you can go check out the videos there, because in all the other places we're censored. And we do love to post on Instagram. We are up to our 10th channel, so it's Cafecito Break 10.0. Uepa!
Wow.
We look at it as growth.
We're growing up.
Well, wait, what happened to the 2.0 and the 3.0? Did they take y'all down? Wow.
Yeah. Everything was so like all those takedowns happened within 2 months, right before. And what was happening was that the New York City mayor election and the conversation with mandates was getting spicier.
Yeah.
So no, and like you said, there were times where some of the videos seemed like they were about to go viral because they started picking up so many views so quickly, and then all of a sudden the screen will go black.
Surprise!
So like, oh my heavens!
That's exactly what they do. You do y'all have a Getter channel?
Yes, we are on Getter. We do double live stream to Getter también. So
Perfect.
yeah, Getter seems to be better, but the thing is that Rumble has like a nice
Yes.
layout where you can find it.
Yes.
So choose wherever you want to consume Cafecito Break.
She's
you
out
could
there.
see us on Getter or on Rumble or Cafecito Break little takes on Instagram.
That's right. Awesome. Well, and y'all can start doing the your little takes, and as you keep getting censored on Instagram, you know, y'all can do those on Getter, because Getter has the visions. So with TikTok being talked about being banned, you know, because of the China influence, you know, TikTok is major, and visions on Getter is exactly that. You know, it's kind of like the little Getter visions, right? So I'm pretty sure that Getter's going to probably start doing a lot more things that you can like that, or you know, the way that that's structured for TikTok, the capabilities and things that you can do on TikTok. They're probably going to have to start doing it because they know that if they ban Getter, somebody's going to want to start moving somewhere. So they start to use the Facebook Reels, but Facebook is becoming obsolete. There's just not a lot of people on Facebook. There really isn't. So you're gonna have to start using that. But definitely start posting your little breaks. Put them on the Getter Visions. Upload them to the Getter Visions.
I'll try
Sounds
that.
good.
We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, definitely start doing that. But I love you all, ladies.
We love you too.
Love you, everybody. Thank you so much. This has been a great Friday evening with my Cafecito sisters.
Epa!
We love
Amor. Keep doing
Thank
what you're
you.
doing. All right, ladies. Until next time.
Ciao.
Peace out.